If you've ever tried combining epoxy with wood, you know that it is not as simple as mixing some resin and pouring it over any slab of wood. Instead, there's a delicate process, one that requires attention to detail, a good understanding of materials, and a bit of foresight to avoid common pitfalls that can compromise your final results. In today's video, we will tackle some of the primary challenges that come up when selecting the best type of wood and epoxy for your table projects. By the end of this video, you will have a solid grasp of the nuances of material selection and some practical strategies for working through issues with resin quality, wood preparation, and curing techniques. And don't forget to stick around until the end for 4 key takeaways to help you make the most of your wood and epoxy project. One of the first things you want to consider is your choice of wood. The type of wood you select has a significant impact on the quality and durability of your final product. When working with epoxy, choosing a wood that is stable and low in moisture content is essential. Moisture in the wood can cause warping or cracks over time, and in some cases, it can interfere with the curing process of the epoxy, resulting in a flawed finish. Popular choices among epoxy table makers include hardwoods like walnuts, maple, and oak. These hardwoods are not only dense and durable, but also feature beautiful grain patterns that work incredibly well with epoxy. The tight grain structure of hardwood provides a natural and attractive contrast between wood and resin, creating a stable surface that holds up well over time. However, there are times when you might want to work with softwood, which, although often more accessible and affordable, can present unique challenges in epoxy work. Due to their porous nature, softwood can absorb epoxy unevenly, leading to a blocky or inconsistent finish. As epoxy seeps into the wood, it may not cure evenly, which can detract from the piece's visual appeal. If you are set on using a softwood like pine or cedar, you need to put in some extra prep work to ensure they are properly sealed and compatible with epoxy. Here's a tip. If you are working with softwood, consider applying a seal coat of epoxy before your main pour. These initial coats act as a barrier, helping to create an even surface and preventing the epoxy from oversaturating the wood fibers. Just as not all wood is the same, not all epoxy formulations are created equal. Different types of epoxy serve various purposes. Some are designed specifically for thick pours, making them ideal for projects like river tables, while others are better suited for thin clear coats like surface finishing. Selecting the wrong type of epoxy can lead to curing issues, reduced clarity, or even discoloration over time. For tables, you will generally want to look for an epoxy labeled as casting resin or deep pour epoxy. These are specifically formulated to handle thicker layers, making them suitable for embedding wood or other objects within the resin. Before diving into your projects, a word of caution. Always check the manufacturer's instructions on pour length and curing time. This is one area where attention to detail really pays off. Different epoxies have unique curing requirements, and pouring too thickly or too quickly can lead to overheating or a cloudy finish. To avoid these issues, consider pouring in stages, allowing each layer to set before adding the next. While this approach requires patience, it's worth it for a clean, clear finish that showcases the wood grain and maintains structural integrity. Here is a pro tip. To ensure compatibility between your chosen wood and epoxy, test a small area of wood with your resin before committing to a large project. Different woods can react with epoxy in unexpected ways due to natural oils or dyes present in the wood. Running a small test allows you to see how the epoxy bonds with the wood, ensuring it will cure without any surprises. If the test looks good, you are one step closer to a successful project. If there is an issue, you have saved yourself the time and material cost of you doing a large pour. Epoxy resin quality is a critical factor that can greatly impact the outcome of your project. There are numerous brands and types of epoxy resins available, each with unique formulations. Higher quality epoxies usually come with precise instructions on curing times, temperature requirements, and recommended pour lengths, which can be extremely valuable for high-stake pieces like large tables. Lower quality options may lack such specific instructions, which often leads to common issues. For instance, a lower quality epoxy might cure inconsistently, leaving part of your table soft or tacky even after the recommended curing time, making it both visually unappealing and less durable. To minimize this risk, carefully read the label and follow the manufacturer's instructions. If the epoxy requires a specific curing temperature, keep your workspace within that temperature range during curing. Temperature variations can cause clouding, uneven curing, and even weaken the epoxy over time. Additionally, monitor the humidity levels of your workspace, as high humidity can interfere with curing, leading to issues like bubbling or surface imperfections. Investing in a reputable epoxy brand may seem like a bigger upfront cost, but it pays off with better performance and fewer headaches. One of the common issues in epoxy projects is wood warping. Warping usually results from moisture changes in the wood, either because the wood wasn't properly dried before use or due to humidity fluctuations after the table is complete. To prevent this, always choose kiln-dry wood for your epoxy project. Kiln-dry removes excess moisture, greatly reducing the risk of warping later on. Even kiln-dry wood benefits from an extra layer of protection, applying a thin seal coat of epoxy before your main pour. This creates a barrier between the wood's natural moisture and the epoxy layer, stabilizing the wood and preventing air bubbles during the main pour. Resin discoloration, particularly yellowing or clouding, is another common issue, especially when the piece is exposed to environmental factors. UV exposure is a primary cause of resin discoloration, so if your table will be placed near sunlight, choose an epoxy with built-in UV resistance. Many brands now offer UV resistant formulas specifically for projects exposed to sunlight, which significantly help preserve clarity over time. While UV resistant epoxy isn't entirely immune to discoloration, it does a much better job of maintaining clarity in sunlight areas. Temperature control is equally important for avoiding a hazy finish. Extreme temperatures during curing can cloud the epoxy. Cure your epoxy in a temperature-controlled environment to achieve a clear finish. Maintaining a stable temperature in your workspace can make a big difference in the clarity and durability of your finish. Check the temperature guidelines provided by the epoxy's manufacturer and aim to stay within the recommended range for optimal results. Adding color to epoxy can be a fun creative process, but it requires caution. Achieving the perfect tint or hue for your project is possible with the right colorant, but not all additives are compatible with every brand of resin. Some colorants can react with epoxy, leading to uneven color blending or cloudiness. To avoid this, stick with high-quality colorant designed specifically for epoxy use, and always do a test pour to see how the color performs. Even experienced epoxy artists rely on this step to catch potential issues before committing to a full pour. Alright, let's wrap things up with 4 key takeaways for all you epoxy DIY enthusiasts. 1. Stick with hardwoods like walnut or oak for stability and opt for an epoxy designed for deep pours. 2. The quality of epoxy affects curing, clarity and resilience. 3. Use kiln-dry wood to minimize warping and apply a seal coat before your main pour. 4. Don't underestimate the importance of a small test pour. By keeping these principles in mind, you are well on your way to crafting epoxy projects that are not only beautiful but also long-lasting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you found this video helpful. See you in the next video and happy crafting.